The following takes place during the Three Kings ritual, in which a person sits in a dark room with two mirrors on either side to contact whatever beings may lay within them. It requires numerous fail-safe alarms and a loved one to keep an eye on you. My best friend was visiting from out of town when I read the Three Kings post, so I recruited her to be my loved one. It doesn't have to be a lover, I figured, and I've known her since we were toddlers. "I thought you didn't believe in this stuff," she said, recalling the days we sat around watching Ghost Hunters and similar shows, laughing at all the ghost show tropes and the reactions of people on TV to houses settling and pipes shifting. Well, of course not, but I am curious as to how people conjure this stuff up in their heads. I've been looking for similarities on the posts regarding Three Kings, such as weird dreams beforehand, mirrors changing to resemble funhouse mirrors, the Queen and the Fool trying to get the person to look at them, not snapping out of it until they get water dumped on them, and stuff like that. It's a lot of power suggestion is what it is. And remember, I am doing that psychological anthropology project, I added, with mock eagerness, all in a much abused library copy of Rethinking Psychiatry from under my bed. "Okay," she replied, "but if you freak yourself out, you still can't crawl in bed with me." "Deal," I answered. We set everything up in the storage room at the back of my basement. There are some small windows at the top of the wall, so we stuffed old pillows in the window wells and hung blankets over them for good measure. I set my alarm and plugged in my iPhone. Neither of us had decided if we were staying up or going to sleep beforehand, but by 2 o'clock-ish, I figured I'd try and catch some sleep, so I wouldn't imagine things out of tiredness when the experiment began. Abby let my alarm wake me to stay true to the rules. The door was still open, the fan was still on, and my phone had fully charged. Nothing weird. I thought of how often this hour had been used in the horror genre. Didn't all the creepy stuff in the Amityville Horror happen at 3:30 a.m.? And I think in Something Wicked This Way Comes, 3 o'clock was referred to as the Soul's Midnight, or something. That was a cool book. So, I sat down in my chair, hoping I wouldn't get hot wax on my hand, as I seem to do any time I hold a candle for more than 5 minutes. Though the flame was more interesting to watch than the dark of the storage room, I did my best to keep looking ahead of me. The only sound besides the typical hum of a house in the dark was my breathing. As I let my mind wander, my breathing was a constant in the back of my mind, and as I continued to daydream, I became so detached, it almost seemed as though it was someone else's breathing. With a slowly building sense of alarm, I started to realize it was someone else's breathing. I thought I must have been imagining it, until I stopped to hold my breath, and I could still hear it, definitely faster than my own, and sounding as panicked as I was starting to feel. Whatever it was must have noticed that I stopped, because it stopped as well. I felt my eyes grow wide, but I didn't dare look over. "Hello?" the left mirror barely whispered. "What do you want?" I answered, trying to sound defiant. Are you real?" it asked, a little louder, but still barely audible. The voice sounded like a girl, maybe a couple years younger than me, high school age or so. "Well, I've always thought so," I ventured. You sound real. Not like them," said the voice in the mirror. "Listen, if anything happens, stay quiet. I don't want them to hear you too. I think they're trying to find a way in. Oh God, I never should have done this." "What exactly are you doing?" I asked, wondering if whatever sorts of beings on the other side of the mirrors needed to do this ritual too to access us, and if they had a name for it. "It's called Three Kings," she said. Her voice sounds strained with terror. My mouth dropped open as she added, I read about it on the internet. And then, a little embarrassed, "I don't know if you have that wherever you are." I was starting to get suspicious. Was this some kind of malevolent being pretending to have gotten here the same way I did, to trick me? "That's how I found it too," I answered, slowly, figuring this wouldn't give too much away. "Won't your person come to get you when the time is up, though?" "Yeah, she will." The voice sounded doubtful, though. "The fan was off when I came down here, but we'd had a power wink while I was waiting for it to be 3:30, so I just chalked it up to that. But maybe I was wrong." She lowered her voice even further and added, "I think something's trying to come through the other mirror." "Have you looked at it?" No, but I don't know if that matters." "Zoe!" I heard faintly through the mirror. "Hey, it's..." Now, I heard muffled screams and bangs coming through the mirror. I can only guess that the girl's person had come to get her, and something had gone wrong. "Kara?" cried the girl in my mirror, hysteria rising in her voice. She seemed to have abandoned any pretense of keeping the thing in the other mirror from hearing her. "Kara, what's going on? Oh God, help! Somebody help us!" Zoe shrieked. Now, it was my own breathing that was panicked. "Oh God," I heard Zoe whisper. I could hear a mirror shatter as Zoe let out a blood-curdling scream. It took every ounce of strength to keep myself from looking into either of my mirrors. Not because I wanted to see what was happening, but because the sound was so real. I wondered if one of my own mirrors had broken. "No," I told myself, "you would have felt the glass shards hitting you. It would have sounded closer." Just to be sure, I shifted my feet around, but I didn't hear any glass crunching beneath them. In the left mirror, I could once again hear breathing, but it was low and ragged this time, charged with adrenaline and some kind of hunger. The chills didn't shoot up my spine until I heard the dripping. Dripping. I wanted to believe there was a leaky pipe somewhere, but I knew that wasn't it. Drip. Blood. Drip. Saliva. Drip. Something worse. Was there something worse? I didn't want to think about it. I tried to track the sound of the breathing as it moved around the room where Zoe was, or had been. It wandered at first, but slowly it got closer to me. I clutched my Beanie Baby, my protective item, one of the fail-safes, harder and harder, trying to keep quiet and thinking as fast as I could. Should I blow out my candle? Get up and leave? Kick over the other chairs? "What do you want?" snapped the mirror to my right, startling me so badly I nearly did all three at once. Then, a brief pause. "Well," said the mirror, as horror crawled up my throat. "I've always thought so," it continued. What the hell? I thought. My mind was reeling. How was this possible? Was something mocking me? It certainly sounded like my own voice. I had a bizarre inclination to shush myself, lest whatever was happening in the right mirror draw the attention of the thing in the left mirror. On my left, the breathing was right next to me. I imagined I could feel the hot air on the side of my face. And it started all again, this time from the other side of my mirror. Liz? I heard as the lights came on. I shrieked, leaping out of my chair and letting the candle hit the cement floor so I could wrench the left mirror out of its chair and pin it to the floor, glass side down, as though it was going to put up a fight. I whirled around. to see Abby standing in the doorway of my perfectly innocuously looking basement, with a half an expectant grin on her face, as if she waited for me to leap up and shout, "Gotcha! Pretty good performance, huh?" And that's exactly what I did. Little dramatic, actually, she countered with a raised brow. You could have broken the mirror like that. Nah, I said, maybe a little too forcefully to come off as nonchalant. But I had to do my best because there was no way I'd get her to leave the house if I told her the truth. She wouldn't buy it. I did spend the whole time thinking about how hungry I am, though, I added, trying to sound convincing. How about we hit up Denny's or something? It took some convincing to drag her out for pie in the middle of the night, but less than it would have taken if I told her why I really wanted to get out of the house. I managed to keep her at the diner with me until 5:45, wiping sweat from my brow and stealing glances around the room the whole time. And then I took the long way home just to be safe so we'd arrive after 6 a.m., the safe time. Over the next few days, I googled things like Zoe, mysterious death, Zoe, unexpectedly passed, found in her home. I also tried local teen, in case she was a minor, in which case I knew the newspapers wouldn't release her name. I tried searching for a memorial page on Facebook, alternate spellings of Zoe, everything. I haven't found her. Someday, I'll tell Abby what I saw, but in the meantime, I knew that I had to say it here.